Give the floor first to the defense.
Ongwen, dressed in a grey suit, pensively listened to the proceedings as the pre-trial hearing got underway.
Involved as a high-ranking officer in the crimes committed.
In Lukodi and Soroti areas, where the LRA meted out large-scale atrocities, small crowds formed around TV screens to watch the proceedings. Described by the prosecutor, Benjamin Gampart, as the tip of the LRA spear, a rebel group which sowed mayhem in northern Uganda for over 2 decades. Ongwen faces 70 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity.
They were regularly required to participate not only in the murderous attacks on civilian camps, but in individual acts of torture and murder, designed to convince recently abducted children that they were so steeped in blood that there could be no acceptance for them back in civilian society.
The prosecution alleges that he was in a right state of mind when he ordered atrocities in Pajule, Lukodi, Odek, and Abok IDP camps, spread out in northern Uganda.
The elements of the various modes of liability by which we say Dominic Ongwen incurs responsibility for these crimes, such as participation in a common plan or ordering or command responsibility.
The bulk of the prosecution's primary evidence are extracts gotten from radio calls intercepted by the UPDF and over 2,000 witness accounts.
Constituted by LRA radio communications, which were intercepted and recorded in various ways by the Ugandan authorities.
Winnie Anyango, a young lawyer, sits and listens. She was young when her family resettled in Kampala, fleeing the war. Her tribe, the Acholi, was one amongst the most affected by the LRA insurgency.
I've had my relatives and everybody experience it, so it would be a very emotional moment. Yes.
She says more justice mechanisms should be pursued besides the court process.
Let's bring the persons home. Let's come to the communities and have our way of reconciliation the way we know how, because this is foreign to us. We know a specific way of rehabilitation and reconciliation. Everyone makes mistakes. Let's recover from it.
Many lawyers and traditional justice activists agree too that the ICC process is an adversarial system where the winner takes it all. This also feeds into the complexity of this case because Ongwen, who was abducted at the tender age of 14, is both a victim and a perpetrator.
To me, as a lawyer, the doctrine of justice delayed is justice denied is very paramount in this process.
It's only best that the trials are brought home, and preferable even in Gulu and those other places where the atrocities were committed, so that the whole essence of victims' participation, which the Rome Statute emphasizes so much, can then bear meaning.
The state itself is actually a party to this case, of course, because you are talking about a battle between a rebel group, that's the LRA, and the government of President Yoweri Museveni.
Victims really need justice, but whether this is the kind of justice is a question.
Winnie, however, says if put in a room with Ongwen, she wouldn't know how to react.
Well, I'd ask him what he wants. What does he really want? Does he want to return back to the community and be a part of the community? Or, I don't know. It's a very emotional moment. I can't experience. I don't think I would want to have the opportunity to experience that moment because I do not know how I will behave.
It will take court about 60 days to deliver a verdict on the pre-trial, which will then determine whether a fully fledged trial can then get underway. Raymond Mujuni, NTV.